All right, guys, welcome back. Today we've got the 253 DPI, the new LCD version. So we already did a video kind of doing an overview of the new features and functions of the machine. As promised, now we're back doing some actual welding with the unit. So we're going to be working with aluminum today. We're running 045 4943. We are running the standard gun. You can kind of see in the video, we've got the lead a little bit coiled up. We're running U-groove drive rolls with a Teflon liner, and even with a little bit of a bend to the lead, we're going to be just fine. So we've got three modes basically we can weld aluminum with on here. We've got just a straight aluminum MIG mode, so no pulse. We've got single pulse and we've got dual pulse. So we're going to start out, just run through standard MIG and then step up into the more advanced features. But we're only going to be running power set just to show you guys how we've refined that and how much better it is than the previous model. So let me get these tacked up and we'll run some standard MIG aluminum with a standard gun. All right, so now we're getting ready to get set up on the 253. We're just going to run standard MIG, no pulse. So we're set up on our aluminum mode. We're set up on power set. All right, so now we're going to go into the menu, get set up on power set mode, and show you guys how this thing runs. So we're going to come in, we're going to drop down to our lower portion. We're going to go up to 045. We're going to select over. We're on ER 4043 currently. We can't run that with a standard whip. So we're going to scroll over. We are running 4943 and we are not running 18 gauge. We are running 1/8 inch material. So now the machine is set up. We can just run a standard MIG mode, no pulse on aluminum. So let's throw the gloves on. Let's get this running. All right, so let's go ahead and get these tacked up now that we've got power set dialed in. So we're gonna have to move hot and fast because we don't have pulse. We're gonna have to really be screaming. So we'll get set up, make sure we got everything ready for the arc shot, and here we go. I'll set that out in front of us. So without using pulse, we've got to be in spray mode. So it's got to run super hot and super fast. So without spray, we are moving as fast as possible and it's running super hot. We could probably go down a little bit on our voltage and get it a little more dialed in. But without pulse, it's always going to be running pretty hot because we need to be in spray transfer. We don't want to be in short circuit when we're running aluminum. So pretty simple setup there. Let's go ahead and switch over to single pulse, and we're going to see a pretty dramatic difference in our controllability of the puddle and our actual travel speed. All right, so let's come over to the machine. So we're on aluminum. Now we're going to skip over to single pulse. We've already got our wire diameter in there, 045. We're at 4943. All right, so now that we've got our single pulse set up on power set mode, let's go ahead and tack these aluminum plates up. We'll make a run and we can compare the difference between no pulse and single pulse. And you'll be able to see in the arc shot, we have a lot more control over our travel speed and our puddle with introducing that pulse. All right, so we just got done with that single pulse aluminum MIG run. So here we have no pulse. Here we have our single pulse. So you can see we've got more bead definition. I was kind of pausing and whipping, which you can do with when you're running the single pulse. With no pulse, you're pretty much got to be moving as fast as you can just to keep up with it. Because like I said, you still want to stay in spray mode. If you start getting too cold, you go into short circuit. You're not going to have the heat to really penetrate. That weld's going to sit on top. So without pulse, you really just have to run hot, run in spray mode, and just keep moving. So we get a lot better looking bead running pulse. We get a lower travel speed. The way we have it set up at the moment, we have a lower travel speed, and it's a lot more controllable. So when someone's just starting out doing MIG aluminum, having that pulse really does help to control that puddle and keep you from burning through quite as fast. So we've got no pulse, we've got single pulse, we've still got dual pulse left. So let's go ahead. We're going to switch over to dual pulse. We'll make another run, and then we'll have our 3 runs side by side. You can really compare basically nothing to full feature dual pulse MIG. All right, so now we're back over at the machine. We're just going to go 1 click to the right. So now we are on our dual pulse. Again, we've got our 045 wire, 4943 set up on 1/8 inch material. We're at 1 pulse per second, running 0.3 pre-flow and 4.5 seconds post-flow. So just untouched power set. Let's go ahead. We'll tack up another couple of plates. We'll make a run with dual pulse. We'll come back and show all 3 of them side by side and see what we got. So you can really hear that high-low with that dual pulse, even just tacking, you can hear that burr, burr, burr. So that's our dual pulse. So let's go ahead, get set up, and let's make this run. So you might have noticed on that run too, I wasn't doing a pause and move, pause and move, pause and move. With the dual pulse, we can pretty much just run a nice constant speed, and that on and off pulse or high-low pulse will kind of give us that ripple effect, like a bead effect to it. So let's go ahead and slide that out for you guys, get you a look at it. So we were a little bit cold on the start, and that's one thing we can do with our 2T and 4T operation. On 2T, we're just locked into a single, basically a single program, a single weld program. We go over to 4T, we can actually set in a hot start and a crater fill. So we can go anywhere from like a 50% of our main amps start up to 150, 200%. So we can have a really nice hot start. So on that 4T, we would pull the trigger, we'd have our hot start, we'd release, we'd go to our welding amperage, and we would basically have a trigger lock then until we hit the trigger again. It'll downslope and then release the trigger, and that'll terminate. So that's something we can dive into in other videos. Right now, I just kind of want to show you guys the basics of getting set up for Pulse MIG. But here's our 3 runs side by side. So you can see no pulse, single pulse, dual pulse. So no pulse, we were running really fast, really hot. Single pulse, we had a lot more control, but I was doing a little stop and weave, stop and weave. And then with the dual pulse, it was pretty much a nice, even, consistent travel speed. And the machine pulse is what was giving us kind of that, that stacked dime effect instead of trying to actually whip it. So when you're running dual pulse, you don't want to whip it too much. You basically just want to let the machine do all the work. So again, just running power set mode. We have done a lot of work on getting the power set mode more dialed for you guys. So for people that are just starting out, it does make it a lot faster to get started. And it's a lot less phone calls for us about people saying that power set mode doesn't work as well as they were hoping. So yeah, I hope you guys with this video, really it shows you the power of the new LCD menus, how much easier it is to set up, how much closer the power set mode is to truly being dialed. Little bit of refinement, we can get it a little extra dialed. That can kind of depend on joint design, the fit up, even how much gas flow we're running. So we were a little bit cold on the start, but we can still tweak on that. Overall, though, a lot easier to set up than the previous 253 unit. So if you guys are looking for a pulse MIG, single, dual pulse MIG, and then even just running like standard spray arc, running short circuit with hardwire, the DPI units are super, super powerful. They've got a lot of adjustment. Really, they can take anybody from a beginner up to a seasoned pro, and everybody's going to be pretty happy with them. So if you're looking for a pulse MIG, check out the 253 DPI. with the new and improved LCD menu. I'm Jesse McCollum. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys soon.